Hello dogs, Lildawg right here right now. Welcome back to Magical Eyes Read is for Anguish. Last episode, we fought the doll for the first time, and it got away. I'm still waiting for chapter 1 to end. This is taking a long time. My hunch was right. The two of them are still there. They seem to have stayed behind without leaving the building. The doll got away, but I put a few wedges in it. It can still move. Did you show some mercies to it? No, the doll's that good. I think Roku was right when he said it grows from experience. Honestly, I can't imagine how bad things could have turned out if Tamura hadn't led the doll to himself. Unnoticed by anyone, the doll has been grown for the last 100 years. That sends a shiver down my spine. Anyway, it'd be over the next time you see it. You can bet on it. It's a shame I wasn't able to finish it here, but the doll is under pursuit by the intelligence department. Besides, it's now too hurt to find the same way as before. I guess it's headed there, as middle schooler predicted. It's just like it's returning home. Who would allow it? Over 100 people can't ever go home again because of the doll? Indeed. That's why I'm going to end this. I've got more stuff to talk with him about. You got it. I'll take care of the rest. Ren, make sure you give him the message. Of course. The longest night will be over at last. Is this the S-rank scenario? Because I don't think I've done that yet. Is everything finished? With the threat to life gone, Tamura is seized with a sense of lethargy. How am I supposed to pay for what I've done? The doll has been not just Tamura's mark, but the icon of his guilt. Now that he is off the stage, there's nothing left that connects him with the case. The victims, the culprit, and the evidence, nothing related to this case will ever be revealed to the world. I'm just guessing, but didn't you just complain about your co-workers in the company? That could be true. I might have said much worse things. Tamura isn't trying to cover it up. He actually can't recall. To him, it feels like something happened ages ago. Even if you pull the trigger of a gun without knowing it's a gun, you may still deserve a punishment for your ignorance. But at least that thing's different. Praying to a doll that kills people. Even Suzunari, who's surrounded by the extraordinary, couldn't have foreseen it either. Sejima and my boss. I took the futures of two innocent people, and that's all there is to it. No matter how much you blame yourself, me and many others appreciate your help. Appreciate? Without you, we wouldn't have known anything about this case. Because of you, the shop manager's arm was abandoned, and we learned about the doll. Otherwise, the police would have written the assault off as simple a burglary, and many more lives would have been lost. Suzunari means it. He's not trying to make Tamura feel better. Though he is sure it won't come across. You mean I was helpful? At least you saved those who were supposed to be taken next. Tamura stares into space, biting his lip. Suzunari thinks that his expressionless man may be too hard on himself. Words of sympathy won't ease his mind. The only thing that could help him could be, I'm neither a god nor a judge, so I can't decide your guilt or what punishment you deserve. But I still can give you something that will help you think about those things for yourself. Tamura gives Suzunari a pleading look. These are Sejima's last words. His last words. Tamura's face stays unchanged, but his eyes show that he's shaken by a bit. Yeah, it's what he told one of his friends on the evening before his disappearance. I want Tamura to always stay as clumsy as he is. What kind of last words are those? The eyes of a man that was once described as a Noah mask are misting over. You can stay the way you are. Tamura never knew such heartwarming words existed. You know what? To me, you look as clumsy as Sojima wanted you to be. If there's a chance to hear words like that again, there's no way to know what the future holds. But I'll think about how I'm going to live instead of how I'm going to die. Tamura decides. Haha, I was completely wrong about you. I thought you were like a doll. I'm about to... Just seeing that image and knowing what's been going on, I'm about to freaking cry too. But you can have that kind of look on your face too. The man's cry resonates through the whole building that the fires of combat had abandoned. Demura's 5-year-long journey has ended here. That's a plot twist! We are in a different area. We're no longer in the city. The rundown house in which the doll has spent 100 years and used as her atelier. Are we finally gonna kill that freaking doll? After passing a sign saying authorized personnel only, I walked down a rather narrow mountain path for around 15 minutes. When I arrive, I find a young man standing here who should be the last person you would expect in this kind of bloody place. Nanashi going outside is already rare enough, and being in the mountains like this is even rarer. So you came too, Nanashi. Yes, I thought I should at least watch her until on behalf of someone. I had Kashiwaba bring me here. On behalf of who? Who knows? Don't worry, I'm not gonna bother you. I don't want to make you any trouble, so I'll just stay out here. That'll help me a lot. Will you go now? The doll's in there? Yes, just as Nanashi predicted. This is where she returns to. It's her dead end. So it's her home. I recall the conversation I had with Rin back at the abandoned factory. Just how many people can't return home because of that doll? She'll probably try to eliminate you with everything she has, but she's unlikely to run away from here. Got it. Oh boy, how regrettable. With you here, I have nothing to do. If I was lucky enough, I might have had a chance to end that doll with my own hands. Well, I'll be killing time waiting for you out here too. Apparently Roku hasn't had to face the doll here, which I think means that it's remained inactive since it returned. That indicates that the blow I gave it several hours ago was pretty effective. Aren't you going to accompany me to report the result? There's nothing more boring than a foregone conclusion. You're far better than her. I don't want to get in the way, so I'm just gonna have a look at everything. I'm just gonna have a look after everything's done. Sounds like he has trust in me. Since Roku had a fight with the doll, his words are really assuring. By the way, the cleaning is finished. No need to worry about them. Thank you. Roku mentions it quite casually, but if this place, this atelier Nanashi has spoken of, then there has to be considerable amount of materials in there. I appreciate that I won't need to desecrate the deceased. Let me ask you something, you. What is it? What do you think it means to become human? As far as I can tell, the doll is an incarnation of one man's insane desire, but a few pieces of paper are the only thing I know about the doll maker's history. You can't learn everything about a person's life just from that. There's no way I can understand what he was really thinking. Maybe he wanted to see her moving like us. Maybe he wanted to talk with her. Or maybe he wanted her to be like a real daughter or lover. Nobody knows anymore. I think she's been messed up by people. I wonder what kind of feeling he has right now, wearing a disgusted face. Words wouldn't be able to express it accurately, because that's something only he who loves objects the same way one loves people can understand. If she were a tool meant for this, I wouldn't complain. I'd rather give a compliment. That were the way she was meant to be, huh? But it's not the way she is right now. She's far from her creator's ideal. Even though it doesn't make anyone happy and no one applauds her, she's just doing what she believes she needs to make her creator's ideal a reality. So you, please. I need you to put an end to her twisted purpose and grant her peace. Nanashi is worried for the doll. To him, she's just another victim. I can't understand that. That's the way my trait is, and that's the source of my power. I may not be able to understand the doll's feelings, but I can at least understand what Nanashi's words mean. I can understand the feelings of a boy who sympathizes, worries about, and wants to save someone else. Got it. It's time to finish this. Here we go! Animal Trail. Oh! I must do all the side quests. I hope you makes it out of there safely. Boy, I can't believe you're worried about a human being. I don't want to lose one of my best customers. Besides, without him, those kids would stop coming to my shop too. That sounds very like you. Kashiwaba can see through Nanashi's white lie. Although he avoids putting it out, he doesn't really care who Nanashi's worried about, whether it be you or the doll. She's rapidly growing stronger, isn't she? What if she grows stronger than you while fighting him? You don't need to be concerned about that. No matter how strong she gets, she'll still lose to you. I guarantee that as someone who once fought the doll. I suppose it's really silly to ask you this, but is you that strong? That really is a silly question to ask, Nanashi. I don't know anything about fighting. Though Kuri and Rin do still a sense of awe, like they're breathtaking statues, so that's how you see them. But you don't feel anything like that from you. To be honest, no. Well, I see, that's the way he looks to those who don't fight. Kashiwaba is surprised at how much sense it makes to him. Unlike Suzunari and Kuri, Amakawa Yu doesn't possess a miraculous body. He is likely just as human as Kashiwaba is. As a genius's object, Nanashi must be sensitive to that. Kashiwaba, on the other hand, recognizes that Yu is on the same level as Suzunari and Kuri. Well, his strength derives from a lot of things. Let me pick one and explain it in a way that someone like you, who doesn't fight, can understand. He has plenty of drawers, and he can open them incredibly fast. Drawers? For instance, that doll can move around soundlessly. Remembering that night, Kashiwaba feels anew to temptation to join the fight. She doesn't feel pain or get tired. She's capable of something akin to psychokinesis and uses that to control herself and kill people. I'd get killed in 3 seconds. You probably has experienced those all before. Are you kidding me? Nanashi can't help but be startled by how someone who's just a few years older than him is living in a whole different world. Unlike Suzunari, I don't tell lame jokes. So you mean it. The answer to how is simple: experience, and he's right there with us, which means he's made it through all those. Him being here proves that he beat all the variants that he faced. Amakawa used one of the best fighters among the entire ranks of Disobeyers. If you look at his appearance and history, the doll must be some kind of monster. But learning 10 or 20 combat techniques won't help it surpass him. He has hundreds of thousands of drawers to open. Is that why he won't lose? Yes, he does have a human body and mind, but he's an extraordinary monster. Doll's Hideout. Woo! I'm getting pumped up for this. I pad down a squeaky floor. According to our research, this place has been abandoned for nearly 100 years. The inside is surprisingly clean, even though the outside looks like a dilapidated hovel. The intelligence department probably cleaned this up along with the atelier. Or, the doll did it? No, that's impossible. Apparently my impression of the doll has been confused by the human-like behavior it exhibited when I fought it. I keep advancing through a dark corridor. The degree of darkness won't cause me any problems when it comes to combat. I've fought many times in complete darkness. I can't count on how many times I've been attacked silently from overhead and behind. I've struck thousands of blows with those skin as hard as wood or metal. The previous fight with the doll has made up for what I lacked, and I remain alert for possibility that the doll still has tricks up its sleeve. I'm confident that the outcome won't change unless the doll only showed half of what it had back at the factory. I entered a second room since I started searching, and there it is. It appears to be too damaged to maintain its pretense of humanity. It's now sticking to the ceiling like a spider. If you want to be a human, you should act more like one. Actually, I like what it looks like now because it makes it easier for me to fight it. The doll drops from the ceiling, using the power of its lunge to dive toward me. Against the doll's bizarre attack, I counter with a plain blow. In the moment of the crossing, I feel a slight weight on my attacking arm, but it isn't as heavy as before. She has to be that weak now. Ironically, it feels just like a small human girl grabbing hold of my arm. As I take a step forward, the doll slides back by the same amount. It looks like it's avoiding me. Is it instinct? Whatever it is, the doll clearly has the capacity to learn. It's obvious. The doll has been copying people to make itself more human. That means it possesses a mechanism that lets it accumulate experience. Yet, escaping isn't an option for her, because this is the place it must protect. Checkmate is just a few moves away. An explosion sound strikes my ear in all directions. The doll jumps and slides around freely at a much higher speed than back to the factory. It's now releasing all the power it acquired to make itself human. The sound wave is destroying my hearing, although I remain calm because I somehow saw this coming. Most variants let loose their last sparkle of inflammation of motion when they feel their death is imminent. It's similar to the final brilliant burst a sparkler gives off before burning out. The doll's too fast to track by sight, but that doesn't mean I can't follow its movements. Squeak! The doll produces a really subtle sound when it turns, which I would never mistake. I shoot off a counterattack. The doll's speed no longer matters. I just need to slightly move my arm and lower it back while it's tackling 2 odd meters away. My attack must have dealt terrible damage to the doll. It practically ran straight into a stake. The doll can move around only haltingly now, as if its all joints are rusted. It hasn't grown enough to use feints or mimic something. In fact, the flame within it is on the verge of being extinguished. The doll should be too damaged to keep fighting for much longer. The doll tries to charge, but it only looks like it's slowly stepping forward, as gentle and fragile as a real little girl. I evade even that with care. Variants can bring unimaginable strength to bear in their last moments, and I'm far too experienced to risk being caught off guard. Obviously, the evasion was not necessary. The doll falls to the floor, unable to support its own weight. All that's left to do is deliver the finishing blows. That one, the hollow life of the doll that desperately tried to make itself human. The doll struggles to get back to its feet, its body creaking. It looks so much like a person desperate to live that I can't help pausing. Knowing that I won't get any answers, I ask a question to Miyama, who started all this. Is this what you wanted the doll to be? What am I thinking? It's nothing more than a vessel. I'm about to make it just another doll, the way it originally was. Who would blame me for it? You. The boy's call halts my determined finishing blow. It's still dangerous here, Nanashi. I know his abilities aren't meant for fighting. Although the doll doesn't seem to have any strength left, I stay alert for the possibility of an unexpected attack. It's fine, the light within her is pretty feeble. She can't even budge. Nanashi fearlessly walks toward the doll. It seems like the doll's not just pretending to be down. It's over now. He starts talking to the doll in a gentle, comforting voice. The one who started you on this path and the one who twisted you are both gone. So you should rest too, okay? He talks to the doll as if it were talking to a baby. Makes me realize what brought him all the way here. He wanted to witness the last moments of the doll that has been used and hated. He is a disobeyer of attachment, which allows him to sense the thoughts buried inside objects. Don't know how it works. Maybe he can hear the doll's voice of thoughts. Could you please? With his back toward me, I can't see what expression he's wearing on his face. Of course. Walking past him, I get down on one knee. When I look at the doll's face, all I see is an artificial mask again. See it struggling to get to its feet, but that's never going to happen. The doll's taken so much from a lot of people, but Nanashi says people have taken its true purpose too. If everyone has lost something, what's that good about? I get irritated, feeling like even those losses are meaningless. There are still a lot of things left unknown, but one thing is for sure is that I need to put an end to this farce. I delicately put my hand on the doll's cheeks and hear. Rest in peace. The boy gently whispers. Is the doll finally gone? Please tell me the doll's finally gone and that chapter 1 is over. On my way to school, I stumble into someone familiar walking ahead of me and speak up. Morning, Ogawa. Morning, Emikawa. Seeing her smile makes me feel secure that I've returned to my high school life. It's been like a week, I guess. Yeah, it felt so much longer to me, though. To me, it felt much shorter. To me, this was about a month. I can remember her parting smile at the school gate as though it just happened 2 or 3 days ago. Really? Yeah. I really had nothing to do for the first few days. Were you at home the whole time? Pretty much. I walked around the station once or twice. I see. How was your Golden Week, Emikawa? There's this big event. Is that something that I can ask you about? I can see her being as indirect as she usually gets at times like this. She must be concerned about the phone conversation. Of course. Alright then, what happened? One of my class's mates texted and called me. Isn't that? That was the first time in my home life. Not counting when some of them informed me about school events and stuff. Which is why that was a big event. Also, it drove my family rather crazy. Not just the kids, even Mom, who wouldn't stop teasing me. I see, that's quite the event. Absolutely. Other than communicating with that particular classmate of yours, what did you do? Nothing in particular, just the usual. Yeah, that was just one of those usual days of mine. Okay. What about you, Ogawa? Did you have any fun? I did. Something really fun happened in the latter half of the week. Is that something I can ask you about? Sure. But let me warn you, you might have to skip gym for a whole week because what I'm going to tell you will knock you off your feet. I seriously doubt anything that shocking will ever happen to me. Alright then, let me get started. Your siblings told you that you recently hung out with someone but wouldn't tell you who, right? Yeah, they did. It really doesn't make sense. Wait, what? How does she know that? That's me. Huh? I made friends with them during Golden Week. With Shizuku and June. Eh? I can say this for sure. There's nothing more exciting than spending time with Ogawa. S-rank scenario number 6. Okay, so this is where this one's coming in. Quiet anger. Do you have a moment? Boy enters the ramen shop before hours wearing a rather serious look on his face. Hey, you want to get something to eat? I'm not eating anything. No need to hold back. You're not open yet, are you? If you're gonna be that way, you're supposed to be at school now, aren't you? The two men agree through eye contact to drop this banter. So what brings you here at this hour of the morning? The fake cook is bothering to ask even though he knows perfectly well what the answer is. There's only one reason Nanashi would be here right now. It's about her. Her, you mean that doll? Yes. And what exactly do you want to talk about? You must already be aware of that. It's about her lifetime. Material variants can only be born when objects take in human thoughts or emotions. Unlike other variants, they never come into the world by letting out their own thoughts or emotions because they don't possess any to begin with. And that fact shortens their lifetime. The emotions that fuel them are gradually exhausted once there's no one more to pour in. In the case of the doll, once the doll maker died. Basically, material variants can keep going until they consumed all human emotions gained before they became a variant. In my opinion, she was pretty out of control for her age. I knew you'd realize. She was born 100 years ago and remained a material variant until last night. It's highly unusual, but not impossible. She did stick around a long time considering she was a variant that did whatever it wanted. Indeed. However, although she claimed a two-digit number of victims every year for a period after her birth, the number did lower as time passed. There were only 2 victims 2 years ago. That suggests she was well into her twilight, but despite that, she was way too active recently. After that knick-knack shop manager took possession of her, she was responsible for 8 abductions, including the failed attempt against the manager himself. She was almost as active as she was in her prime. Differently put, it seems that she suddenly went on the move around the time she came into shop manager's possession. It's almost like someone poured extra emotion into her, but consensus among experts on material variants says that refueling is completely improbable. It's as crazy as putting the gas into the tank of a running car. What's worse, she got something different from the original fuel. You suspect something happened to that doll. The boy, a specialist in the field, has decided that someone must have forcefully fed the doll. Almost certainly. What do you think happened? This is what I heard a couple days ago. Something bizarre has been happening in the town this year, hasn't it? Ah, you mean the crime wave? That has been one of the topics discussed by the cook and Amakawa Yu lately. Wait a second, that can't be true. Sounds like a mere rumor, but actually it's not. I think I get what you're trying to say. The thing happening in town right now doesn't drive just people insane, but objects too? I believe that explains the shop manager's case. That was evidently irregular. According to the intelligence department, that was caused by a series of coincidences. The doll is capable of controlling only 3 objects at a time. She couldn't get Nikawa because Tamura showed up while he was fighting back by pushing over heavy shells. You mean how he survived? I'm talking about why she tried to kill him before abducting him. The cook understands the boy's doubt. Had the doll been that belligerent, she would have left much more evidence behind over her century of activity. Fine, I'll pass this along to intelligence. But why do you care so much about this when you hate people? The cook is aware the boy's not doing this to protect the people in town. It's obvious for her sake. Nanashi, just what did you see within that doll? There's somebody who disturbed her sleep and made her sad. I cannot forgive them. As if it as if unable to stand the fact that someone hurt his friend. His face quietly reflects his seething anger. Is this the end of the freaking story? Because I heard there's another game coming after this. Kamisaka University Hospital. Azuma doesn't consider himself very dutiful about his work. He's not crazy about being the ideal police officer who acts as a role model that the higher-ups are so obsessed with. He doesn't even think about becoming an ally of justice and receiving people's attention and love, but he still feels proud to be a cop. He has this pet theory that every police officer must be one of two types. One is the shield that protects innocent people, and the other is the hunting hound that corners odious criminals. 7 people went missing around you. Gets directly to the point. 7, I guess I might have made as many wishes as that to the doll. I tell you something, that doll didn't just magically spirit people away. It took them somewhere and murdered them. Nikawa frowns slightly for a moment, but smirk quickly returns. Makes Azuma understand that there's no need to go easy on this man at all. At that place you found corpses of 6 of your acquaintances. Really sorry to hear that. Nikawa doesn't appear to be aware how crucial Azuma's remark to is. Let me say this again, we only found 6 bodies. Officer, what are you trying to... I'm saying 1 body's missing. Maybe that's because the doll took that one somewhere else. Nikawa looks so upset that Azuma has practically succeeded at pulling out a confession. If he didn't know what Azuma has talked about, he'd be less upset and more confused. You know that's not true, don't you? I mean, the woman who was the 4th victim, you killed her and abandoned the body somewhere else, didn't you? What are you talking about? Her name is Kaito, and the night when she went missing was the only time you didn't have an alibi. From a different point of view, he had an alibi. Oof. Just big oof. The shop manager got absolutely wrecked. For one, he happened to be drinking with a friend. For another, he happened to be away on a business trip. As a matter of fact, apart from the night he was assaulted by the doll, he had been extremely hard to find in this city at night. As though he refused to stay there. That has to be a coincidence. I mean, it'd be strange if I had an alibi for each of the 7 disappearances. We've confirmed that you and the first 3 victims didn't get along with each other, but the relationship between you and Kaito was different. It was worse. The worst relationship possible, if you will. I want to kill her. I hope she dies. You talked about her like that all the time in presence of other people. Well, I may sound like I'm obnoxious, but it felt really good when I heard that she went missing, you thought the doll taking her away would be too good for her, didn't you? In the first place, Nikawa didn't know what kind of ending So he was doing... So he was doing all that crap on purpose. In the first place, Nikawa didn't know what kind of ending all those missing people had to see. As one of the possibilities, he might have thought that the doll spirited away without pain. He hated Kaito so much that he was even talking about killing her. It wouldn't be surprising if he decided that he wanted to make sure she suffered. Let's say that you happened to have a flawless alibi when the first 3 disappeared. Then you realize something. Even if you committed a crime, you could probably get away with it by using the doll. Nikawa glares at Azuma with rebellious eyes. I felt something off with you ever since I met you. You weren't upset or depressed at all, or rather you were able to answer my questions rationally. You should have expected that nobody would believe you when he said the doll was the culprit, shouldn't you? I just didn't want to lie. That's wrong. You did have a good reason to mention the doll. When we, the police, found anything strange about the missing people, you're going to tell us this. They disappeared after they made wishes to the doll. As a matter of fact, Nikawa did tell Azuma something like that. And probably you expected as long as your alibis for the 6 disappearances were flawless, we assumed all 7 were performed by the same culprit, and you could get away with the murder of the woman. It didn't matter if the doll really existed or not. You just wanted to fool us into thinking a series of 7 disappearances was a mysterious incident performed by the same culprit. What evidence do you have? Can you prove that I killed her? Azuma sighs in disappointment, wondering why people like him always fell back on stock lines like that one. Your plan was very daring, but it was full of holes. The security camera set up in the entrance of the parking lot in front of Kaito's apartment recorded everything you did there. Everything from you entering the apartment building and you leaving with a large piece of baggage. Nikawa is startled. Although he must have been cautious about the cameras in her apartment building, you could find one of these almost everywhere these days if you were in somewhere crowded. Also, a camera caught your license plate near a mountain dam in a neighboring prefecture on the night Kaito vanished. Will he still blame the doll for all the 7 disappearances? Every investigator from the police and the disobeyers, except for Azuma, should have considered the doll to be responsible for the missing people, including the 7th. And they're probably still investigating with that in mind. Nikawa's biggest misfortune is that Azuma works on this case. What's more unforgivable is how you picked the 3 victims after Kaido. In comparison to the first 4, there didn't seem to be any bad blood between you and those 3. Azuma can see Nikawa's eyes fill with fear. He is utterly awed by the cop who has seemed to have read him like an open book. I know what you did. You just randomly picked those 3 out of the people you didn't really like in order to create your alibis, didn't you? Nikawa goes pale and feels faint while Azuma's eyes him with anger. He practically killed 3 people in order to hide his guilt. Just like Amikawa Yu never forgives the unfairness caused by variants, Azuma as a police officer never forgets injustice caused by human beings. No matter how much time and effort it may take, he will surely drag every one of Nikawa's crimes into the light of day. You know, you're gonna lose a lot more than an arm for what you've done. Oof. And now Chiharu. Having left the dojo and walking down to the station, I'm somehow not thrilled heading through this alleyway to the station's main street. Maybe it's all these surrounding entertainment facilities. The alley's full of street stalls selling accessories or collections of self-made poems, as well as passionate street singers and dancers entertaining passers-by. While they're all here for some purpose, some to make a living, some to fulfill their dreams, this area is always crowded with visitors just checking out the attractions or seeing the sights. If you like rowdy, bustling areas, you'd probably enjoy being here, or so I think. But this kind of atmosphere really isn't my thing, and all I can say about this place is that it's a mess. I sometimes walk through here to get to the station, but never visit otherwise. See something you like? I drop by one of the stalls, not because they have something that interests me, but because the shopkeeper girl is blowing a beautiful bubblegum balloon. Yeah, I know what bubblegum is. There's no way she'd know that. She's talking to me, figuring I want to see your stuff. Slightly disappointed to see the balloon break the moment she opened her mouth to speak. Think any of these will look great on you because you're such a cutie. She still thinks I'm here to look at their accessories. What should I do? It'd be weird if I told her that her bubblegum balloon caught my eye. When I give a closer look at each accessory on the sheet, I notice that they're all of unexpectedly high quality. In fact, they all look fantastic. These all look gorgeous. Thanks, me and my friend made them. Are they all handmade? They are. They're all nicely designed. Some of them are unimaginably luxurious for a street stall, while some of them are simple and neat. I usually don't wear any accessories, but these are just perfect. Well, yeah, because I'm a famous designer in the making, or that's what I like to call myself. Could it be you're actually professional? Not at all. I pretty much make these things for fun. That must be what makes you a great artist. Haha, you flatter me. You just made my day, but I can't offer any special discounts. We spend a lot of money and efforts on our goods. The highest price range is no more than 10,000 yen or so, and these small and simple cost less than 1,000 yen. The merchandise all appears to be cheaply priced for its quality. This must be as low as they can price them. Considering how well crafted they are and how infrequently I pass through the street, buying one of these wouldn't hurt. Amikawa would probably like something simple. No, wait, I should get him something for those 2 kids. Oh, please check out the other stuff over there too. She levels her eyes at the sheet spread out next to her space. Following her eyes, I find old clothes, wristwatches, magazines, and more on the sheet. I thought of the owner of that stall was away because there had been nobody by the sheet. Does it also belong to this woman? The items here don't look like anything that she sells over here. Are these? My sentence cuts off. A pendant caught my eyes. A combination of simply garnished head and thin chin gives a delicate impression on the whole. Didn't have any particular reason to pick it up, and neither has been designed distinguished enough for me to express my preferences about it or much greater gloss than the other goods. It's just that it feels like it has a presence different from that of the others. Oh, you like it? Well, yes. I guess it's more like I've gotten interested in it. I might get 500 yen for your cuteness. Are you sure? The price tag says 2,980 yen. don't worry about. That one is at my shop's. You mean it's from another shop? Yep. The guy often sets up shop next to us, but then quickly takes off somewhere. And every time he goes away, he asks me and that guy on the other side of him to look after his stuff. The guy with the knit hat gives me a slight bow when she faces him. Doesn't he mind you giving discounts? He names some items that I can't do that for, but the rest is okay. And this pennant is okay too? Yep. But I think 500 yen is too low. He might get mad at you. Haha, that's never gonna happen. I've done this a bunch of times before. Besides, he's kinda weird. Never see him mad or laughing, right? And that guy hat shrugs his shoulders in agreement. Sounds like this shop owner isn't very friendly. But we have a deal with him. We get a third of the profits of what we sell while he's gone. We see this as a way of earning a little extra money, so there's nothing stressful about it. Guess that's what knit hat guy did. He sold a 500 yen pocket watch for 200 yen. And you two get a third of it? That doesn't make you much, doesn't it? We don't care because there's nothing we lose. Helping him run his shop, making people happy, and making some profit. It's all sunshine and roses. The knit hat man nods several times with approval and smiles. He seems to be fairly affable compared to the absent stall keeper in question. Speaking of that pennant, there's something interesting about it. Something interesting? Here. She thrusts the pennant to me and I catch it with haste. The moment it's on my palm, I realize what she means. I can hear a dry rumbling sound from inside the accessory. There's something inside. Yeah. What is it? We have no idea either. How so? Try getting it open. As instructed, I push part of my fingernail into the sled, try to pry it open, but the lid won't budge. It's like all the parts are tightly glued shut. But doesn't look that way at all. And even if that was the case, I should probably be able to make some more progress. It won't open. We did everything we could, but no luck. It doesn't show any signs of opening. It seems to have been made to open originally. If this is a locket, what's in there is a photograph, most likely. But photos don't make that sort of sound, do they? Now I'm eager to know what's in it. I know, right? I even tried using some tools without asking, but nothing worked. It almost feels weird. It almost feels like it's welded shut. Guessing that some parts skewed and stuck. I don't see any such flaws. The surface looks completely intact. Maybe something is wrong inside it? Actually, we've been waiting for someone to buy it and find out what's inside. Then why don't you buy it? Now, if it's just a pebble, I'll regret the price, even that's 500 yen. Like she said, you probably regret if you bought it just to find out what's inside. So you buying it? I shoot one more look at the pennant on my palm. Okay, I know what to do. I like the design and want to find out what's inside. I'll take it. Oh, you want to see what's in it that badly? A little bit, but I also like its pretty design and the mood it has. So you're just going to be wearing it? Not going to try to force it open? That's right. Okay, I guess that's good. Dang, why didn't I think of that? That would be the best option for her. She calls the pennant her in a gentle voice. I think that proves how much she loves the accessories. Maybe she can create these wonderful works because she's like that. But I might try what I can to get it open without breaking it. Aha, I know that feeling. Come on. Come tell us about what's inside if you find out. I'm almost always here. If I'm not here, you can tell him. The knit hat guy thumps his chest, implying his supportiveness. I will. Thanks. Alright then, the price is... Before that, can I see what you have? I like this pennant. Her goods don't give out a mysterious aura that tempts you to touch and study them, but I can feel something like the hidden passion of hers within them. In fact, I feel like I can see some kind of twinkling buried in them that could actually make her a famous designer in the future. Sure, thanks. Now I'm having fun imagining this woman in a gorgeous dress, giving a wonderful speech to a large audience. So what about this one? By the time I finally decide to buy a bracelet, the sun is starting to set. Alright, Nanashi-do. I'm kind of hoping this ends soon, because I do not want to end the damn video, and then end up freaking having a 3-minute finale. Sorry, I was not paying attention. Hello. Normally, Nanashi starts pressuring me to make a purchase as soon as I come in, but this time he's staring at the doll without paying me any attention. What can I do for you? Well, I just wanted to come see the doll. I see. But you can't hit her anymore. That hurts. I'm joking. As a matter of fact, she's probably grateful. Grateful? Yes. What's this supposed to mean? Let me ask you something. Sure. You went all the way up there last night because you wanted to protect her? I want to know if he was there to stop me before I lost it and completely destroyed the doll. Just want to be with her when she fell asleep. But I know you made every effort you could to keep me from breaking the doll. Oh, I was found out? Yeah, mind telling me what that was for? Well, I'll show something to you and only you. He produces a picture. Is this Tamura? But the picture looks so old. It is monochrome that seems to have been taken decades ago. It's a picture of Miyama. What? This was taken on his little sister's request while they were both alive. She was the only one who he got along with. He and Tamura look alike. They do, hard to tell apart. I think this is why she didn't kill Tamura 5 years ago. They say it was because he was hiding himself so skillfully. He was so good at it that even the intelligence department had trouble tracking him down. She could track down her targets with no more information than hearing you complain about them. I doubt it was their addresses or faces that she used to make that happen. That makes perfect sense, but if that's true, it wasn't a coincidence that Tamura survived. It's not that he escaped from her attack, but that she didn't attack him. Now that it's a mere doll, there's no way to find out the truth. If someone else were here, they probably would laugh off his theory, but after actually having fought the doll, that does ring with truth. There's something that crossed my mind when I was fighting back in that old house. That doll was really strong, and I had no idea how Tamura survived fighting the doll for so long. I know he'd been training himself, but the doll was way stronger than him. Basically, the doll's psychic power could have killed him just like that. Maybe it couldn't attack him with everything it had. That could be true. No, that must be it. When she first met him, when she reunited with her creator after 100 years, what might she have thought? Did you let us subdue the doll because, despite his obsession with objects, especially material variants, Nanashi was never against us turning the doll back into a mere object. What that implies is, you tried to stop her from killing Tamura. According to the intelligence department, she was trying to repair Miyama at the atelier as expected. Following her creator's wish, she'd spent her whole life trying to become a human, and she'd been trying to repair him for those 100 years. As a result, she was considered a devil. I think that was already much more than she deserved. How could I possibly let her kill someone who resembles her father? A parent and child. That's not like you, Nanashi. No, it's very like me. She really cared about her parents. Had she been a real girl, I probably wouldn't have done anything. Haha, right. He gives much more love to everything created by humans than to those humans or even himself. That's the way he lives his life. This conversation fit the final piece into the puzzle. With that, this case is truly closed. Alright, there's the question I've been dying to ask you. I stop walking the moment I arrive at the door. Nanashi's the only one in the world who knows the answer to this question. What is it? What did you see when he touched the doll at the last moment? Nanashi, the owner of Nanashi-do. His other face is a disobeyer with the power of attachment. It allows him to see the thoughts existing inside objects. It was the face of a man. Was it Miyama's? I'm not sure. He looked so much like both Miyama and Tamura. I couldn't tell which one it was. Maybe the doll couldn't tell them apart either. But the man was smiling. So that was the last dream she had, living for 100 years. And the moment I saw that, I saw her smile too. I thought I saw her smile too. There was no way her wood-carved face could make any expressions, but I thought I saw it. I see. And her smile. It looked really happy. I think this is it. After the case was closed, he was suggested by the disobeyers to return to an ordinary life under the condition of not revealing anything that he knows about the case. He has not yet found out how to expiate his own guilt, but in order to prevent any more tears of losses caused by variants, he decided to live out the rest of his life with one of the collaborators and disobeyers. Stay as clumsy as he is. Alright.
口のない不安変えたまるでこの世界のようにそう今未来のことなんて予言することも予測することも意味ないんじゃないなんて思いが街中溢れてる無関心のままじゃ何も生まれはしないはずなのに
Catchy. Is a work of fiction and in relation to actual people or events is purely coincidental. Unfortunately, these things have to exist because people are dumb. Ooh. Question mark side. It's been a little over the month since the day the boy and the girl met. Yeah, that was never explained. I'm glad we're getting back to that. He's visited her room every day. When she's too sick, they can't even talk to each other. They can only see each other's faces. But he visits anyway. Today she's in good shape, but she's not allowed to run around the hospital because none of her family is around. This occasionally happens, and every time one of those days comes, the boy takes a seat by her bed and chats with her, grinning. She can feel that the kindness he shows is different from that of her family, the nurse or the doctor. And it turns this quiet, desolate room into a place filled with warmth. Shopping trips to the hospital store used to be her favorite way to spend her time, but now it's her second favorite. There's nothing better than sharing her time with the boy. Their string of laughter or silence followed between the two children. You know what? Beating himself, swinging his legs in the air. He opens his mouth to speak again with the side down. The girl can't wait to hear what is about to come out of his mouth. Every story he tells is amusing. She particularly loves it when he talks about his stubborn but tender grandpa. Next week, I'm leaving the hospital. She can't understand what he just said for a moment. She starts to feel her entire body grow faint. She knows what she has to say something, but the words won't come out. It's no surprise, on the day they met each other, he told her about this hospital stay was going to last for 2 months at the longest. He doesn't really know what kind of illness or injury he'd be admitted with or if he got surgery there, but he said days ago he was going to get his cast off this week. Although she wishes she could spend time with him like this forever, she knew they'd be separated eventually. Still, the time she spent with him was like a dream that she'd hoped would never end. Staring straight at the confused girl, the boy continues. Now, I'm going to come see you a lot. He should be feeling excited about being released, but he looks sorry for some reason. Are you sure? Yeah. Gives a firm answer. No, he won't ever come either. Many people had told her similar things before. A distant relative, a nurse who quit her job there, a girl who had been with her for a week. During her years-long hospitalization, she met people like those, but they had hardly visited her again. Some of them did a couple times, but they didn't last longer than that. Once you've recovered and leave this place, you forgot about the small world. This is one of the facts she has learned here. So this boy will be one of them, but will you come see me again? I promise I will. He firmly nods in agreement. The iron will she sees in his eyes makes her heart waver. Every time like this has happened before, she's held onto a faint hold that they come and visit, but this time she wants desperately for him to make good on his promise no matter what it takes. Doesn't matter if she can trust his words or not, she wants to trust them. That's what her heart is telling her. That is going to become important at some point. Thank you so much for playing. Red is for Anguish is over. Next episode, Indigo Blue Heaven. Bam. And an extra scenario. So we can go ahead view all the... And there's the theater, there's the graphics, there's the extra scenario. Oh, okay, so this is the... Yeah, this is the beginning. This is the opening movie from when we finally started chapter 1, and this is the ending. We have all the graphics. We have everything because we completed all of the S-rank scenarios. A picture of Miyama. And we also have the extra scenario. I'm gonna do a separate video showing through everything, and I'm probably gonna upload that tomorrow. I hope you enjoyed this. I really enjoyed this game. I'm definitely looking forward to the sequel whenever that comes out. And I have a bunch of other Fruit Bat Factory games that I got off of itch.io I can play. I may have people at the Fruit Bat Factory Discord server decide which one I should play next. But this one's gonna hold much importance to me because this is the first one I've encountered and I really enjoyed this one. So yeah. We'll see you next episode when we go through all of the different things and special. Bye-bye.